welcome to Sankofa Podcast, YouTube channel, whatevs. Anyways, my name is Silverstein. I am your host, and if you've been following me for any amount of time, you would know that I talk a lot about sleeping and lately walking. You're gonna hear me talk about sleeping all the time. Today I want to focus on walking and the benefits of walking. Yesterday I almost said tweeted, but it's not tweeted. What do you call it? I have Instagrammed on my story, go for a walk, like in big, huge letters. And honestly, I'm pretty sure that I've said this before, you should be walking at least twice a day. If you can't do it twice, at least once a day. If you battle any kind of mental health issues or physical, or even if you're perfectly fine and you just want to make your life better, go for a walk. It's like one of the easiest and best things you can do for yourself. There is a science to this also. I'm gonna keep looking down because I'm looking at my computer. I have some notes. I'm gonna put it right there. It's probably still looking down, but whatever. There is a phrase, movement is medicine, and this could not be truer for walking. When you are walking, a whole bunch of things are happening. You have increased blood flow, which gets oxygen to the brain and the organs and everywhere else. It also gets rid of toxins when you walk. It actually improves cognitive functions like all around. Studies have shown that it can actually grow your hippocampus, and like your hippocampus is the part of your brain that's responsible for like storing memories and emotional content. It can be damaged, and walking can repair your brain. Like in general, walking helps to repair neurons. Little known fact about walking. We've all been walking since we were like 2. I mean, most of us. Sorry, scratched my nose. I know I'm all like super conscious of touching my eyes, nose, and mouth now because, COVID. But I was saying, like, we've all been walking most of us have been walking for a really long time. And so we don't really think much about what it entails to be walking, unless you've at some point lost your ability to walk and had to relearn it again. But it's a really complicated process. And we've only, within I think in the 70s, figured out it has very little to do with the brain and very little to do with muscle memory, which is what we thought that the brain told the muscles to get to walking. But that's not what is going on. The brain does send a signal, but the whole walking thing happens in the spinal cord, actually. Yeah, so we have these neurons that are located in our spinal cord, and that's basically why chickens and people and other things can keep walking after they've been beheaded. You might have heard about that. It's interesting because as humans, we're actually the only bipedal species, meaning we're the only creatures on this planet that walk continuously upright. As far as we know, there has been some rumors about this Yeti Bigfoot guy might be walking upright, but there's been no conclusive evidence that he actually even exists. So until we get some more evidence, we're the only ones who are doing this, which is super unique and interesting. So how much walking do you need to do for it to be beneficial? More than 10 minutes. Studies have shown that women who walked for 10 minutes had a lot of increased endorphins and blood circulation and good brain activity. So at least 10 minutes, that's the minimum before you get all the health benefits. But to get a good chunk of health benefits from walking, the recommended time is 30 minutes. So if you can set aside 30 minutes to just stroll through the neighborhood, go to the nearest park, or instead of catching the bus to go home, take a walk, which hopefully you're making those choices anyways, because it's actually safer to be in fresh air than in rooms or buses or trains with this COVID-19 virus spreading around. I'm looking at my notes. So yeah, the benefits of walking: improves brain function, improves neuron elasticity, and it helps to repair damaged neurons. I mean, this podcast is all about getting in touch with your inner child and doing her justice, as well as undoing the negative effects that childhood trauma puts on a person. So walking is actually like a necessary tool to undo negative effects. Also, this really cool thing that happens when you walk, there's this like protein called BDNF. I don't even remember what that stands for. It's like super complicated scientific word, but essentially it's necessary for the neuron's development and survival. And when you walk, that BDNF is produced in your brain. And so the more of that stuff you get going, moving around in your brain, the better all of your cognitive functions are. Memory, emotional abilities and coping mechanisms, all that actually happens in the brain. And it helps fight neurodegenerative disorders like Alzheimer's and memory loss and all that stuff. So I don't know if you noticed, but like I was talking to a girlfriend, she lives in New York City, and she was like talking how the older Chinese ladies are always out there swinging their arms and going on walks around the neighborhood. And if you know me personally, you know that I spend a good portion of my developmental years, I would say my late teens to early adulthood, with my adopted mom. She never really formally adopted me, but I call her she's one of my moms. She's my Chinese mom. And I don't even know how old Ping Ping is, but she be walking a lot. And like, she obviously has old people degenerative stuff. Not obviously, but she does. She's definitely older. But she's also really sharp in a lot of ways. And she's not the only person I know. And her dad is like 104, and he rides his bike. They live in Taipei. Well, her dad does. She lives in the US, but like, dude, I want to be like 100 years old riding my bike from point A to point B and like being sharp and not forgetting stuff. I laugh because I just had this memory of my grandmother, Rethis, may she rest in peace. I love her so much. I feel like she still visits me frequently. Yeah, that was kind of weird to say, but take it how you want it. One time we were encouraging her to go walk her dog, and she was supposed to just go for 10 minutes to go for a walk. And so she was gone for like 30 minutes, and my aunt and I were like, gotta send out a search party to go find your grandma. Where she went? She walked as far as the front door, and she was sitting outside in her chair, her walker / chair. She was sitting in her chair with the dog looking outside, not actually walking. And I remember the dog just looked like, I want to go for a walk. And I was like, Granny, what are you doing? And she was like, well, I walked here and then I sat, and I'm still getting the benefits of looking outside. Grandma was hilarious. But yeah, don't be like my grandma. Actually go for a walk. 10 minutes will make a world of difference. What else? So also studies have shown that people who walk regularly for 30 minutes a day are less fatigued throughout their day. So your morning walk could be like your morning cup of coffee. For me, it is my morning cup of coffee. Literally, my brain gets the clarity and starts working and operating like midway through my walk. I go on a really short, like 10-minute walk with my dog because she has not been walking. She's not been able to keep up the energy lately, and we live in Texas where it's extremely hot. And then so we usually get out really early because okay. Anyways, what was I saying? So yeah, studies show that people who walk 30 minutes a day are less fatigued throughout their day. I already mentioned that it strengthens the hippocampus, which is the part of your brain that forms and stores memories and feelings associated with those memories. Also, wanted to note, if you're a creative of any sort, if you're any kind of artist or depend on creativity for your livelihood, you probably already know how important walking is. Like, it is the prescription for getting unblocked if you have any kind of writer's block or any kind of creative block. It's actually so I don't know exactly. Oh, I actually do. I listened to this article, it's probably NPR because I listen to a lot of NPR. I actually listened to this thing. They were talking about how they measured creativity. So scientifically, apparently walking increases your creativity by 60%. A 30-minute walk will increase your creativity by 60%. And the way they measured this was like asking people before and after a walk to do something creative with like a regular object, like a pen. I remember listening to it. It didn't really go over my head, but it kind of was like, okay, I guess. I remember it was like, what could you do with like, I don't remember. It was like this pin top. What could this pin top be? It could be a hat for a giraffe. It could be a whatever. So the more creative a person's answer, I guess, was a mark in the creativity. And apparently walking makes that better. So yeah. I think that was all I wanted to say. Get out there and walk. I am going to do my first giveaway. I am going to make a list of things that most people will see on a walk, like flowers and squirrels and dogs and whatever. And it's going to be like a scavenger hunt. And whoever can send me my full list and pictures on Instagram, so go and follow Sankofa Podcast on Instagram, is going to get a gift from me, and it's going to be a good one too. So thanks for listening. Thanks for joining. I hope you guys get out there and go on a walk. In fact, I'm going to go on a walk right now. I've already been on 2, but I enjoy it. And it's my day off. So yeah, I'm going to go for a walk, and happy walking to you too. Bye.